All right, we're rolling. All right. Got my iPad here with my notes. All right, so in this video, we are going to be talking about how to get paid for your video work. That's right, how to charge your clients to do video projects. What's good, creative fan? Brandon Washington here. And first of all, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button because this channel is all about filmmaking gear, tips, and tutorials. And like I mentioned before, in today's video, we are talking about how to charge your clients. Now, I have broken this down into 5 rules that I personally try to follow no matter what situation I'm in. And this is the way that I charge my clients. Now, of course, there are tons of different ways you can actually do this. And as far as getting into the actual practical ways, like how to send invoices and all that stuff, we'll definitely cover that in another video. But I wanted to talk to you about the way that I actually come up with my prices for my clients and ultimately charge them in a way that fits my lifestyle, but also in a way that I think helps me to stay somewhat sane in this whole freelance world. All right, so the first rule that I have for you guys is don't get paid for your time, get paid for your value. Now, this was one that was really hard for me, especially because before doing video freelance, full time, I worked retail. And in the world of retail and most jobs, you get paid hourly. Now, when you're paid hourly, it's pretty straightforward. You work for 10 hours and you're getting paid $12 an hour. Well, then you're going to make 120 bucks, right? Makes perfect sense. However, the problem with doing video at an hourly rate is you're technically going to eventually become penalized for being better at your job. So for example, back when I first started doing real estate video, I used to shoot the videos in roughly about 3 hours, and then it would take me about another 4 hours to edit the video. So 7 hours total of work, not including travel. Then I would charge them about $200 to do those videos. Now you do that math and I'm making roughly $28 an hour. Now back then when I was shooting, real estate, when I first got started, I was working and I was only making about $15 to $17 an hour around that time frame. Well, to make $28 an hour sounded amazing. However, as technology got better and I got better at my work, well, it started taking me less and less time to actually shoot the houses and much less time to edit the houses. So did this mean I should charge less? In fact, it was the opposite. I actually started charging more. And the reason why was 1, I could offer faster turnaround times, but 2, I started being able to shoot bigger and better houses because my overall video quality and video production was getting better. This is why I don't typically recommend charging by the hour. Once you tell a client that they're going to get X number amount of hours for X number amount of work, if you start to become more valuable to them in the sense of you're able to get the work done sooner, well, now it's gonna be so much harder for you to charge them more per hour because they're gonna wanna be able to save as much as possible, which it makes sense, it's business. But this is the reason why I don't say that you should charge per hour for your work. Never put that down on any type of an invoice or anything like that. Always get paid for the work that you're doing, not the time that you have to spend in order to do that work. Because look at it from this standpoint. A video that's worth $1,000 is worth $1,000 because of the finished video, not because of how much time that had to go in it or lack thereof time that had to actually go into the finished video. Dang, that's actually pretty good. All right, rule number 2. Your prices are not too high, you're just selling to the wrong client. Now, this is one that I personally struggled with for the longest time. I kept hearing that these people were charging these like crazy multi-$1,000 price ranges for videos, and I was over here just shooting my videos for only a couple $100. And honestly, for probably about a good 2 years, I could not figure out how people were making money doing videos, and especially enough in order to make a living. And I found out that it was because I was actually selling my services to the completely wrong clients. See, there are different clients who are willing to pay different price points. For example, if you're someone who wants to take photos of pretty girls, right? And you're in high school, and so you decide, I want to take pictures of high school girls, and so now you are out there and you're doing your thing. Well, most high school girls don't have a whole lot of money, and so if they're your target audience, you're not really gonna make that much money. However, if you decide I want to make a good amount of money, I'm gonna go take photos for a doctor's office or a dentist's office. Well, those are companies that make a lot more money and obviously have way more money to spend on things like marketing and photos and video. See, a lot of times we think that our prices are too high, and so we have to start thinking, okay, well, how do I bring my prices down in order to get the jobs that I want? Well, the truth is, set a price that you are comfortable with, and then go find the clients that can afford you. I spilled coffee. There we go, all clean. All right, so now that we talked about how to set your price and find the right clients, I'd be lying to you if I were to tell you that you still won't find those clients who want to negotiate with you. So that is where rule number 3 comes into place. And that is set your price and negotiate the work, not the price. See, a lot of clients, you're going to tell them what your budget is and for your video, and rightfully so, they may not be able to afford that. Now, that's okay. I don't say that that's really a big problem. That's actually, if they're still communicating with you, you're in a really good place. Now, what do you do if they say, you tell them that the project is gonna be $5,000 and they come back and they say, well, we really only have $3,000 for this project. So how do you negotiate that? Well, the first thing you do is you do not do the same project for less amount of money. That is a terrible idea because what you've just done is devalued yourself. So here's how you fix it. Instead of negotiating the price, negotiate the work. See, if you give them $5,000 worth of service, a video with pre-production, lighting, audio, assistants, someone to come out and do grip, you're gonna write the script, you're gonna produce it, you're gonna edit it, you're gonna do all these things, and you tell them that all this is gonna cost $5,000, and then they say they can't afford it, well, that is when I start negotiating the work. And what I mean by that is you do less in order to charge less. So if you wanted to charge them $5,000 and they can't afford that, well, put some things on them. At that point, you can tell them, well, since you can't afford it, that's no big deal. Here's what we can do. You can take over writing the script. You can take over doing the location scouting. You can take over the producing, so that means setting the schedule, getting all the talent there, and making sure that food, water, and all the hospitality things are there. You can basically turn over elements of the project that can technically be done without you doing it over to them to ask them to do it. This is going to, one, make you feel so much better about not making as much for the project because now you're not doing as much. A lot of times that there are certain elements of the project that we have to do, right? We have to bring out the gear, we have to shoot it, we have to edit it. But some elements of the pre-production can actually be put on less skilled people, and you can put it on your clients in order to help them save. Now, they're not gonna devalue the work that you actually do, but instead, one, they'll probably more so value either you doing those things for them because now they really don't wanna do it, but more importantly, they're gonna value the work that you actually are doing for them because they're gonna still see that they're still paying top dollar for your service. They're just having to do more of maybe some of the homework on the front end. Now, one quick little pro tip here, and that is always have money saved up. Now, the hardest part is when you start to get into negotiations with clients and they start saying like, oh, well, we really can't afford this. If you are on your last dollar, it is super hard to negotiate with an honest heart because I've been there when you are like needing that job because you need that money for that month's rent or whatever the case may be, and when the client says, well, we can only afford $3,000, you're quick to say, okay, that's fine, I'll do it for $3,000 because you need that money. That's why I always recommend having some type of savings account, have an emergency fund, have something in place so you're not living job to job, because when you're living job to job, trust me, it's so hard to negotiate. So make sure you save up some money, put it away, and then that way when you go into negotiate, you can actually negotiate the work that you're doing, not the money that you're making, because honestly, you don't necessarily need that money because you have money put away to the side just in case. All right, so now let's jump into rule number 4. Rule number 4 is to create a pricing model that you can grow with your production company despite the job that you're actually doing. So as you get into this whole video world, you're gonna find that there's gonna be tons of projects that get thrown your way, and sometimes you may think that it makes sense to charge one price point for one type of job and then another price point for a different type of job. All right, so take this situation. Let's say you have a job on Friday and it's a real estate job and it's gonna take up about, let's say, half your day. And then you get a call for a commercial job and they want you to come out and shoot this commercial job. All you have to do is shoot it, no editing, nothing else. We just want you to show up with your camera, do your job. But they wanna pay you 3 times as much as you would make than if you were doing that real estate job. Well, now it's gonna suck because, well, you could be taken on that job, but you can't because you got this real estate gig and you can't cancel on them because that's just bad business. This is why I always recommend setting your price points no matter what the job is. The way that I personally do this is I have a half day rate and a full day rate. The reason why I have a half day rate and a full day rate is because there's almost never a situation where I can take 3 jobs in a day. And in most situations, I'm only gonna be able to take 1. And so the way my pricing model is set up is I have a half day rate, but if you need me between the hours of 11 and 4, you have to buy the full day rate because during those hours, it's almost impossible to get a second job on that day. By having people have to pay that half day rate or that full day rate, you guarantee that no matter what the job is, you're still getting your fair amount of wages. You never want to take a low paying job on a day, especially when you start getting busier and you're booking weeks and months out, that you booked a date and then someone comes along with a job that should pay you more and now you're stuck doing this low paying job instead of doing the high paying one. This is why you charge the same rate no matter what the project is. Now, this is gonna start to sound a little bit crazy when you start thinking about things like shooting a commercial versus shooting something like real estate. You know, you kind of have to weigh that balance. Do you want to take on lower paying jobs just because they're there? Because if it means that you could potentially miss out on high paying jobs and you're starting to get more and more of those come through, trust me, you're going to regret it. Now also, whenever I'm out there creating these pricing plans, one thing you'll want to kind of consider is all the little elements that go into shooting your video or producing your video. So you're thinking about pre-production, production, post-production, going back and forth with clients, dealing with props, location scouting. There's all these other little elements. And so the easiest way, and trust me, this changed everything for me right here. You ready? The easiest way in order to figure out how to charge for all these things is to stop doing them yourself. Hire people. See, once you realize that you have to hire someone else to edit your videos, hire someone else to do the pre-production, to do the location scouting, hire someone else to actually even, let's say, shoot the video for you, you start realizing how much money has to go to all these different people. And a lot of times when we're doing it all ourselves, we're willing to cut costs here and there in order to try to win the job. Make sure that you find people who can do all these jobs for you. Now, even if you still decide to edit the video yourself, shoot the video yourself, do all the pre-production yourself, at least you know how much it would cost you if you were to actually go find people to do it for you. So now you know that you're actually charging a fair amount for the video. Never cut somebody a deal on the editing or on the pre-production, because when you do, you're really just cutting yourself from getting paid what you're actually worth. All right, and my last and final rule number 5, and this is a big one: never shoot for exposure, shoot for experiences. Now, I know you guys have heard that, you know, when you're first starting out, you should shoot for free. And shooting for free is totally different. Like, shooting for free is a very base term. There's a difference between shooting for exposure and shooting for experiences. See, shooting for experiences is shooting things that are going to make you better. So this could be shooting in a new industry that you've never shot in before, but you've always been interested in. Like for example, the very first concert I ever shot, I shot completely for free. I wanted to get more experience in shooting a concert and having that for my demo reel and being able to show that with new up and coming clients that I could potentially be hired for. See, that is the experience. Another great experience could be shooting with new gear. Like if you're shooting for free for someone, but you tell them, hey, I need you to rent this gear so I can make better videos, that's a great trade-off because now you're getting the experience to shoot with new gear. However, shooting for exposure is completely terrible. Like it almost never works out. There are a few instances where exposure is kind of a good thing, but here's the reason why I don't like shooting for exposure. A lot of times when someone approaches you and they say, come shoot this video or come take these photos for me, it'll be great exposure for you. Tons of people will see your videos and photos. Well, what you have to ask yourself is, of those people who I'm being exposed to, how many of them are actively looking for my service? That's right. So let's say an artist, because this happens all the time, especially on Instagram. I get this message pretty much almost weekly. I will get a message from a hip hop artist who says they want me to shoot their music video for them. And in exchange, they're going to blow the video up and I'm gonna get tons of exposure because so many people are gonna see that I shot the video for them. Well, of those people who are actually going to see the video, how many of them are looking to hire a music video director? Probably very few, because most of the people watching the video are watching the video because they're fans of that artist. The same thing rings true in business. Even if a business owner says, come shoot my video and you'll get tons of exposure, how many of the people who watch that video are actually going to be looking to hire you? And realistically, are you really going to be able to add at the end of the video, if you're looking for a videographer, contact me? It's just not realistic. The way I typically try to handle it is if someone reaches out to me and asks me to shoot a video for them in exchange for exposure, I will legitimately ask them how much exposure. Like, give me a number. Let's say they say that number is around 5,000. That sounds like a lot of people. That sounds like a good amount of exposure until you go to Facebook and you try to buy an ad and you see how much it actually costs to get exposed to 5,000 people. It's not a lot of money. See, exposure now really doesn't cost very much. I can run an ad on Facebook and Instagram and have my business exposed not only to a large amount of people, but a very targeted amount of people who are actually looking for my type of service. So shooting for exposure really is a bad idea, especially in 2019. If you need exposure, just save up 20 bucks and run an ad on Facebook. But if you're going to shoot something for free, shoot for the experience of doing something you either love or you enjoy, or it teaches you something new, or it allows you to experience something that you've always wanted to. And that is when shooting for free makes perfect sense. So there you have it, guys. I'm sorry if this video was really long. I just wanted to give you guys all these notes and details. I know when it comes to shooting, especially in this freelance world, it can be super difficult to know when to shoot for free, when not to shoot for free, how to charge clients, what to charge clients, and really how to negotiate through the entire process. These are just 5 rules that I personally live by when it comes to dealing with clients. Now, if you guys want to know more about this or want me to go more in detail, maybe on exactly how to send invoices or how to send quotes or any of the technical businessy stuff, let me know down in the comments. I'll definitely go in more detail if you'd like me to, but this is a YouTube video, so I try to keep it pretty lighthearted. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Let me know any other questions or comments or basically topics you want me to cover on this channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.